The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Buckle Bomb Presents the Interview Series. I am joined here with Sarah, as always. We also should come up with another name other than Interview Series. So please, if you guys at home watching, give us a name. And as always, I digress. Please welcome our very special guest, King Naja.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Seven. Sarah, it's a pleasure. Seven, it's a pleasure to see you again. Sarah, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, King Naja and I go way back to day one of your training, or both of our trainings.
Day one, yep.
So let's start from there. Tell us a little bit about your training, how you got started, and all those good deeds.
Oh, for sure. So what are we coming up on? Almost 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
3 years. It was summertime of 21. Oregon Pro Wrestling school. I remember being the second person to walk into the school. Amira was the first one that was there. No surprise.
Yeah.
And it was been a whirlwind adventure ever since. I've been considering. I'm sorry, I'm distracted because I got these brass knuckles that I tried to knock Spencer Scott and Zay Perez out with, so I keep them close by as memorabilia to remember that even your best friends you have to punch in the face sometimes. But I remember way back, I've been considering the pro wrestling game for many years, and my youngest daughter, Cameron, and I were out at StarCast 2 in Vegas for the launch of AEW, and, going around talking with different wrestlers and stuff, and I started to feel this weird vibe, but not a vibe in an odd way, just a weird vibe of this is where I need to be. These are my people. And I talked to a few different wrestlers about a few different things. And one specifically that stood out to me was a conversation that I had with Booker T. And he had asked me if I was trained. And he said, "Oh, you're a big guy, you ever train?" And two things that really stood out to me about that conversation: the fact that he took such interest, it was genuine. And the second thing is that he didn't care about the fact that it was like 45 people in line behind me. He was laser focused on me in that moment. And that said a lot to me, not just about the character of the man, but what the business is all about. It's about one-on-one relationships. And it was not too long after that I came back from Vegas that I got I saw a posting, probably the same one that you saw, Seven, from Ricky Gibson, stating that he was interested in opening up a wrestling school. If anybody was curious about it, to hit him up. So I hit him up. And it's pretty much been history since there. I've been training under his tutelage since day one, and I'm blessed to still be doing it today. We just trained last night.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know who we're talking about with Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl, they are the Midnight Heat, who you guys can see on AEW, Ring of Honor, Prestige, Defy. I mean, these guys are legit. And I've even had the pleasure of working with them and learning just so much of the business, even stuff that I hold today very dear, even just as a photographer, that I still remember things that they've said and all that stuff. They're very, very special people.
Absolutely.
So kind of going real quick back to your conversation you were having with Booker T, I imagine the thought of training probably came up. Did he try recruiting you to his school down in Texas?
No, not at all. What he did ask me, he said, "Where do you live?" And I told him. He'd be like, "Oh, okay." He said, "I'm sure they got to have, wrestling is Portland is a hotbed of professional wrestling for over the years." He said, "I'm sure they got to have a school there." And I was like, "No, the closest school that I knew of at the time was the Buddy Wayne Academy up in Everett, Washington." And then from there, I knew of schools like down in California. Stuff that I never thought would be on the radar, right? Like the New Japan not Lionsgate, but the New Japan LA Dojo. I knew about Lionsgate up in Canada, but I was like, to travel to LA 16 hours for training wasn't going to happen. To travel to Canada and fight with the border patrol, 5-hour drive to get over there wasn't going to happen. But one thing that he did say was, I wish he would have recruited me. That would have made the story way more interesting. But what he did say was that if you desire it enough, you're going to find a way to get there. And luckily, I didn't have to find a way to get there. Get there found me. So now I'm only 45 minutes away from the school.
So I'm going to actually ask you a question even before you got into the training and that aspect. Were you a fan of professional wrestling?
Oh, yeah, huge fan, big time. Dating all the way back to, WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3. I remember watching WrestleMania 3 at my girlfriend's house. So it gives you an idea of how old I am, with her little brothers. And everybody was all gaga going crazy over Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. But I was stuck on that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Macho Man Randy Savage match. I absolutely love it. I've studied that match. I've looked at interviews where I actually had the opportunity at StarCast to talk to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat about that match. So that match is pretty much what really got me excited about pro wrestling, because in WrestleMania 1 and 2, it was just, Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, Roddy Piper, Cowboy Bob Orndorff. Those were the key features, the key guys there. It's funny, if you guys haven't done so and you go back and look at WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3, really the first 10, and you look back and go, the production quality of what the product was then versus what it is now is so crazy. Wrestling is still wrestling. You got a good guy, bad guy, somebody punches somebody in the face, pisses somebody off, and now you got a story. So yeah, that's kind of, I've been in it for the long haul for sure.
Who were some of the people?
WrestleMania 3. One thing I'm kind of surprised they never went back and did again is you look at WrestleMania 3 and they went to I think it was 3 or 4 different cities, for one night of WrestleMania. They never did that again, which kind of surprises me.
It's not a surprise because that was a disaster.
A logistical nightmare. What was it? Atlantic City, New Jersey, LA. If I'm not mistaken, it's been so long since I've seen it. I'm sure one of you guys might be a little bit more versed. I think it was Trump Taj Mahal, maybe the Great Western Forum. I could be wrong, and I can't remember the third. Chicago, maybe.
One of it was MSG, I think.
Dr. Google.
Yeah, it was MSG Detroit, which I think was the Trump building.
Taj Mahal. Yeah, something like that.
And then I think one was LA, but like a certain city only had like a total of 20 minutes of wrestling. So it was historically like a kind of a disaster.
Yeah, because it was all on closed circuit TV. It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. So when did you have your first match? I think I was there actually.
Oh man. The first match was the anniversary of it just passed. And I will tell you right now, and again, forgive me for not being prepped up. Even on my own podcast, I try to work on the goal of being unscripted, uncensored, and unapologetic, and just kind of let stuff flow, right? And see kind of where the conversation goes. It was January 22nd, 2022. So 1/22/22. And that was Pal Pro Wrestling's first event back after the pandemic. And I got to fight in the Battle Royal, got to make my debut in the Battle Royal. When I made my way to the ring, both of my coaches were in the ring. Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl was in the ring. The Pal Panda was in the ring. Steve Miggs had just been eliminated from the match, and Titus Alexander was in the ring. And when I made my way in with complete tunnel vision, focusing on my music and not falling over anything or getting stuck on my gimmick, when I took my hood off or my skull mask and I slid into the ring, and Ricky was with Pal Panda and Pal Panda was running the ropes. Titus was hunkered down in the corner, and I looked right across the ring and I locked eyes with Eddie Pearl and I went straight at him. Yep.
Am I mistaken, or was Kelvin Tankman also somehow involved with that?
Oh match? Yeah, Kelvin Tankman was involved with busting Spencer Scott right in his face with a black elbow twice.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah. I think Zay Perez had been eliminated already. I want to say I came in at number 8. Again, it was so long ago. I don't have it in my notes. But yeah. And I was subsequently, that's the first time I got a concussion in professional wrestling. Was during that match. I took a hard buckle. Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl were giving me the business, and I took a hard buckle, Savage style, fell back, rolled, and then face planted. And at that moment, that's when I realized that you want to make sure you protect the moneymaker when you're falling on the face, taking a face bump. And I heard this loud gong, and I didn't wake up until Eddie Pearl had his foot on the side of my head. And then I kind of snapped to, and then Ricky Gibson picked me up, draped me over the bottom rope, fish hooked my face, and told me to smile for my fans, of which was my mother, my daughter, my wife, everyone there in the front row. And Ricky made
Literally
sure
the entire front row.
I pretty much, yeah. There was a lot of people there. A lot of people there that came down to support. Hell, my massage therapist, my god kids, man, it was crazy. And then next thing I know, I hear Juicy Finale's music, and I was like, oh yeah. The biggest dude in the entire locker room, that's what I'm going after my first match. Didn't work out too great, but hey, I got a good memory, a lot of good pictures from it.
So tell us a little bit about where you've been wrestling since then.
Oh man, it's been crazy. I need to update my database because, as we were always taught, write everything down because it's going to go super fast and you're going to forget a lot of the specifics. But I've had the opportunity to work. I mean, everywhere I had on my basic bucket list, because I'm real simple, guys. I'm real simple. My goal in this whole thing was to perform as long as I could, as much as I could, and have as much fun as possible, keeping it realistic. I know that my trajectory in this pro wrestling business is not necessarily the Fed. It's not necessarily AEW, New Japan, even though I was suggested to go train out there or anywhere else. I just wanted to perform in front of my family. I wanted to perform for Defy because Defy is the first indie promotion that I really fell in love with. And then I realized that there were so many awesome other independent promotions, including PAL Pro Wrestling, of which I wrestle for presently, DOA in Portland, Timber Pro Wrestling at the time when they were still running, and you came out there and shot them awesome pictures, which I appreciate. WAC, which kind of took a siesta and came back rebranded as Peak. I wrestled for WAC, and then I was able to perform also at WrestleCore in Canada. So the only promotion that I haven't hit yet that's been on my list is Riot Pro Wrestling in Costa Rica. And the timing just didn't line up because I would be headed out there in 3 weeks. But I'll have to make the next go round.
I think we have a mutual friend that's going out there now.
Yes, indeed. Again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, I did want to talk to you about Reactivate. Are you headed out there anytime soon?
No, I haven't. I haven't talked with the cats at Reactivate or Relentless, out in Tri-Cities and Spokane, respectively. I'm not against it, but it's kind of like, I'm an old man in this game. I pick and choose my spots. I think about the law of diminishing returns, right? And I want to be able to contribute in a way that's going to be substantial for the promotion and for the athletes. And I know that both of those promotions put on amazing shows and they do amazing work. Same with Metal Mania here in Portland.
Yeah.
I'm not in any rush to be on anybody's roster to try to make a name for myself. I think that what I'm doing is satisfactory enough. I do want to get the opportunity to work at SOS again. I did a ring announcing work up there to fill in for Fuego one time, but if anybody comes asking and it makes sense, yeah, I'm 100% down to do it schedule wise. But there, again, like I said, man, there's so many other super talented athletes that could definitely benefit from that additional exposure. And, as much as I love and hate the majority of the people that I work, I don't see any reason for trying to take a spot that could belong to somebody that's really has their trajectory further down the line than myself.
That's actually a very well thought out how you pick and choose kind of where you are. If somebody wanted to see, if never seen a match of yours, what would a match that you would recommend that kind of encompasses who you are as a performer and one that you're really, really proud of?
Man, that's an awesome question. 2 matches come to mind. The one more recently that comes to mind is it was a $10,000 street fight, a 3-on-3 tag match. It was, 3-on-3 melee. that it was myself and Dr. Cleaver and Jonas Albert Robinson hired us to do what we do. The Dr. Cleaver and I are a tag team down in Pal Pro Wrestling, part of the Empire with Caden Cassidy, and we fought against the Flamin' Ace, the Super Aces, which is the team of the Flamin' Aces and the Incredible Jaden. And yeah, we beat the living hell out of each other there. Spencer Scott and I have always had a huge amount of respect for one another, but a huge desire to punch each other in the face, and we were able to do that. So that match was a lot of fun. That match is available on Pal Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel, the $10,000 Street Fight. And there's also a really cool match that I enjoyed against the Death Threat, myself and Dr. Cleaver against Death Threat. Because if you ever wanted to see a very typical example of what myself and Dr. Cleaver are all about in our approach, it's just punching people in the face. I don't mind wins. I don't mind losses. The money is the same. It's just the amount of violence that I could put on somebody. And if they can give it back, if you give it back, I could take it. I'm with it. Look, busted lips, black eyes, it's all part of the game. Broken elbows, stuff like that happens, right, when we're in this game, right?
Yeah.
Blown out knees, separated shoulder. Amira's in a match with Amira. I got a separated shoulder 2 weeks ago. It's just part of the game. Things like that happen. And all the matches that I've had have been dope, but those two specifically, I think, were the ones that I enjoyed a lot. I can't say the most because I enjoyed all of them. I've had a few matches with Charlie Avell where we've gone back and forth. There was a gauntlet tag match at PAL down in Eugene at not World Pies, but one that was outside. Shoot, too many concussions. Blair Alley, and it was a tag tournament there, and we beat up the Flamin' Aces first, and then it was Charlie Avell and Drexel. So I had the opportunity to lay hands with Charlie, trade hands with Charlie, which is always fun too. So
yeah, I think I photographed you and Charlie's first match at Timber.
Yeah, yep, you sure did. And you can testify to that match. We try to beat the brakes off of each other. In the small amount of time that we went. And he caught me slipping, hit me in my face with my own cane. Again, I can't blame him. I would have done the same thing. That's why I bring it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're going to close up this part and we're going to go into another section that's yet to be named. And it's going to be 5 questions that are meant to either be thoughtful, funny, or just plain weird.
Okay.
The first one is, if animals could talk, which one would be the rudest?
Which animal would be the rudest? The cat.
No, yeah. That's
Cats are rude just by nature anyway. They're no sellers.
What is the weirdest gift that you have ever given?
The weirdest gift that I've ever given would be the gift of life.
Okay.
To my 3 children.
I have to admit that is a very different answer than what we've received the last 3 times that I've asked that question. So far, we've had a fleshlight, edible underwear, and I forgot what the third one was.
So let me guess.
The bloody foam heart.
Oh yeah, the bloody foam heart.
A fleshlight, edible underwear, and okay. So I would think that the fleshlight was given by Zay Perez, the edible underwear by Derek Shaw, and what was the last one? A bloody heart.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds like something that Spencer Scott might be into.
So the fleshlight was actually April Hunter.
Okay.
And I think the edible underwear was Lance Pearson.
Ah, okay.
And the bloody foam heart was Rashad Tyson.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
that one makes sense.
I punched Rashad in the face a few times too. He's a nice kid. I like hitting him.
So, yes, I have seen him get punched in the face a lot.
Yeah.
And, everybody kind of says the same thing. What is the most annoying color?
I don't know. And here's the thoughtful part. I have such affection and appreciation for diversity. As I look around my office, my baby Grogu, Alexa Holder, his ears. It's a beautiful color of mint green. And like my Michigan Wolverine helmet has that beautiful maize and blue. And I look over at the posters above my snakes, beautiful hues of orange and pink and brown.
I'm not sure.
Alexa's always fucking bitch. I don't know that I have an answer for that. I think that I'm not annoyed by too terrible much, in all honesty. I wish I could have something a little bit more entertaining than that, but I love all colors. Yeah.
All right, that's actually a really fair question.
Even like Pepto-Bismol pink, I don't mind it.
I actually say that my favorite color is glitter, not because of the sparkle, but because it shines on everything, and I love.
To that point, if now listen, Seven, if glitter is going to be a color, then glitter is my most annoying color because I can't stand glitter. As a father of 2 daughters and a gay son, a lot of glitter growing up in the house. Grandpa of 2 granddaughters, glitter everywhere. Yeah, you got me hot. If we're going to consider glitter a color from this day forward, which I think we shall, we're going to make it canon. Glitter is the most annoying color ever made.
I will accept that as the most annoying.
It's
color.
what's known as crafting herpes.
Oh my gosh!
Once
I
you
got
got
a
it, you can't get rid of
I'm
it.
like triggered. I'm starting to get hot. Not in a good way.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on before the set is destroyed or whatnot. What is your favorite TV show growing up?
Who's the Boss with Alyssa Milano?
Is that the reason why it's your
That's
favorite?
100% the reason why. So here's a quick little fun fact, and I'll be short because I know we're time. I'm trying to respect the time because we don't want to go over, but don't give me a live mic. So in my bedroom growing up, every inch of my wall was covered with Michael Jackson pictures because I was Michael Jackson. I wasn't a fan. I was Michael Jackson. My 4th grade class picture was me with the little curl and a Michael Jackson beaded jacket. I'll find the picture and I'll text it to you when we're done.
Oh, please do.
But then, I mean, and I've had girlfriends, big shock to you, I'm sure, because you know me so well, since I was like in 1st grade, 2nd grade. So then when they really started to take paramount in my life, girlfriends, all the Michael Jackson pictures came down. Sadly, they probably got thrown away instead of got put in a keepsake trunk. And then Alyssa Milano started popping up. Bam. I had a picture of Alyssa Milano. What's the statute of limitation on shoplifting? I don't know, but I used to walk to the local grocery store and they had the magazine aisle. And I would go to the magazine aisle and I would open it up like people do. You see it in the grocery store every day. Next time you're at the grocery store and you walk through the magazine aisle, somebody's standing there. They're not reading. They're looking for an opportunity to steal. So what I would do is I would pop my earring out, right? And I would crease the line of the picture where the staples are, and it would just fall out. And I put it right up in my shirt, take my pictures of Alyssa Milano home because I was too cheap to buy the magazine. Yeah. And I had one awesome picture of Alyssa Milano in a frame right next to my bed, and I would kiss it every night. That's canon.
So I love that. So who the boss?
Who's the boss?
Wait, what was it? Who's the boss? So that was with Tony Danza, right?
Tony Danza, correct. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. And my final question for this one is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Shit. I always dream about flying. I've been watching Jessica Jones as of late, and the ability to have unlimited strength would be dope. The ability to read minds, knowing it'd be because I could know when somebody's giving me a line of bullshit or not, and I could act accordingly. So the ability to read minds.
All right, Sarah, go ahead.
Okay, so we got my game next here. I call it the electric chair. Okay. 6 random questions, just some wrestling related, some not.
Okay.
So just give, the first answer that comes to mind. We actually kind of went over this one, ironically, already. Favorite WrestleMania moment?
Yeah, favorite WrestleMania moment was watching WrestleMania 3. Just the whole match of Savage versus Steamboat.
I'm probably gonna watch that again this weekend. Go back and watch it. The best road trip snack.
Best road trip snack would be a drink that you would get at your local bikini barista spot, at least the ones going up I-5, called a side chick. It's just enough sweet, refreshing awesomeness to keep you awake to get to the next town.
Okay. What would be your dream wrestling city? Somewhere where, you hope to get to one day. It's kind of on your bucket list. You haven't been there yet, though.
Oh man, I would say, because I know that they actually run, would be down in LA at PCW Ultra, and it's only because I'm from Southern California, and that's the closest place that all of my local family and friends could get to see me back home. Would be in LA somewhere.
Okay. If you weren't doing pro wrestling, what would be another sport you would have liked to have played professionally?
Sport? Professional? Man, that's a really good question. I played football in high school. I wasn't great. Played basketball, not on a team because I can't dribble with my right hand. Soccer's not my thing. I tried swimming, ran track. I would say probably track and field, just because you're outside is great. Everybody's wearing little bitty stuff. Yeah, track and field. I did the pole vault, a little bit reckless. So, yeah, professional pole vaulter would be pretty cool. Run fast, stick in the ground, fly, fall, right up my alley.
Boom, done.
Boom, done.
But you're also a martial artist, right?
Yeah. I train and teach in Krav Maga self-defense. So I don't know if that would be considered a sport. It's more legal violence on other human beings. So we can make that a sport.
UFC and MMA, it could be considered a sport.
Yeah, no, definitely UFC, MMA. I ring announce for MMA, and it's far more brutal than the little boy inside of me likes to admit.
Yeah.
What was your favorite class in school growing up?
Lunch. Lunch, because it was more opportunity to get out there and socialize. If you're looking for a specific, I know lunch isn't a class. I say tongue in cheek. Probably English, just because I really vibe so much with poetry. Langston Hughes has always been my favorite poet, and we got the opportunity to be exposed to so many things in English class. And my English teacher was a complete taskmaster, and I gained a lot of respect for authority and for structure, even though it was, she told us flat out, first day of school, if you cheat and I catch you, I'm not going to tell you, you just won't graduate. And 3 or 4 of my friends didn't graduate, and they were like, I don't know why. Told you why, dummy. So yeah, authority in English class.
All right, last question. Who would be your dream opponent for a match?
Man, Jake the Snake Roberts. At his prime, I don't care. Just to be in the ring with Jake would be dope. Seven knows this. That's always been my absolute muse for everything that I do is Jake, even though my persona, I say tongue in cheek because I'm just me, just depending on the mood. So I'm either wearing white or black. I'm a little playful or a little bit mannish. But Jake, by far, would be my dream opponent. And I would say if I had a choice of 2, Roddy Piper would be the second one.
I like those answers.
Yeah, I mean, your gimmick is literally also kind of the snake, at least it was at one point.
Yeah, well, no, the snakes are my thing. It's a part of who I am. I have the snakes on me, ideally, and there's 3 of them sitting right there. There's something about snakes that's always intrigued me, and it's not the fact that they're lethal. It's not the fact that ideally they're so beautiful and colorful, which is great. It's the fact that they don't want to be fucked with. They just want to be left alone. They want to go about their life to do their business. Like I said on a recent interview, and I double checked, and my son said I could use this going forward. To me, snakes are the representation of fuck around and find out. Just leave me alone. Let me be. But if you fuck with me, then it's a whole nother story. So somebody had asked me, how I felt about it. And I said, I think I'm going forward. My pronouns are going to be fuck around and find out.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So the next part is going to be part of the trivia game.
Okay.
Whoever gets 5 wins. What the win is nothing, but it's
listen, it's still a win, brother. We're going to go with it.
It's still a win. It's still a win. So I have 5 questions. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to write it down, so it may take me a second to toggle between the questions. But after please wait and raise your hand before. Let me complete the question because that way I can look up to see who raises their hand first. Usually it is anybody else other than Sarah. No, I'm just kidding. So far, how many games have we done? 3, right? Or 2?
Did we play with Lance? I don't remember. I don't think so.
Not well. Okay.
Or,
so either way,
no, I think it was just Lance and Rashad. So I think we've only done 2.
Got it. Or with this format, got it. Okay. The first question is, what company slogan is "You're always in good hands"? King Naja?
Allstate.
You got it. All right. Originally, Amazon only sold what product?
Books.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of useless knowledge floating around in my old ass head.
I was about to say Pez dispensers. Remember, that was eBay, not Amazon.
Oh, I didn't know that about eBay.
Yeah, that's what eBay started out. It was a Pez dispenser trading site.
In which year was the internet open to the public?
Oh shit! Yeah.
1991.
That is incorrect.
Okay. I'll try to grab. I would say 89.
Incorrect. It was actually 1993.
Well, hey, there you have it. Too many concussions, like I said.
All right. Oh, that was the question. Here is another date one. What year did Facebook first launch?
Damn.
Kind of tossing 2 ideas out here. I'm going to say 2006.
Incorrect.
I'm not gonna guess, but it's funny because I didn't know the date until I was working on a project, an AI related project, and one of the questions was surrounding the founding of Facebook and all the individual founders. So my brain don't work that well in reverse. So we'll just take the L on that one.
All right. In which city is Studio 54 located? Ooh, Sarah.
New York City.
Correct.
What borough?
If I remember correctly, it was Queens.
I think you're right. I think it is
actually
Queens.
Did not have that. I don't have that information available. This singer is famously known for a song called Material Girl. Naja?
Madonna.
Yeah. In a coffee shop, what was this coffee shop called on the hit TV show Friends? Go ahead.
Central Perk.
Correct. How old was Rose in the Titanic movie when she recounted her story? Go ahead.
93.
Incorrect.
94.
Incorrect. It's
95. No, I'm playing.
It was 100. I actually thought it was in the 90s.
She was 100.
Yeah, according to parade.com.
Wow. I was gonna say, is as hell, is that an age? An acceptable age? Old as hell?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. And for the possible win or a tie, who was Walt Disney's favorite princess? Go ahead.
Snow White.
Incorrect.
Oh hell. Never mind. I know.
Cinderella.
Thank you.
Who was it? Yes, it was
It had to be. You made her a whole damn castle.
All right, you guys. So we're here for a tie. We got a couple more questions.
Okay.
The first one is, who won the first season of American Idol?
Kelly Clarkson.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
I should have said it like the 40-year-old virgin, huh?
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson.
And that concludes this version of trivia.
Sweet.
King Naja, where can they find you? Drop us your socials.
Oh man, it's real simple. Contrary to multiple requests, King Naja don't tweet or don't X. I do X stalk though, but I don't post on X just because I just don't. But on Instagram at Hail _ King _ Naja is the best place. All my other stuff is all basically private. Excuse me. So yeah, Instagram is the best place to go. I mean, if you guys, I don't know, you tell me. I mean, you guys are both young and smart and hip and devilishly attractive. Is there still a big deal of getting over 1,000 subscribers? Because I've been sitting at like 400 for a while, and like there's a bunch of them that are bots, I'm sure. And I'm a quality versus quantity guy, but seeing people that like just random ass people with thousands of followers, I'm like, nah, it can't be worth it. It can't be worth it unless they're all gonna pay $5 each to follow me about the beating up on the Flaming Aces. But yeah, if anybody is not following King Naja, please go follow at Hail _ King _ Naja. You'll see a picture of me on there with the snake. You'll see a lot of pictures of me on there with snakes. And yeah, that's the best place to keep up with my comings and goings and my tomfoolery and shenanigans.
Perfect. So what shows do you have coming up? This will actually be released on Tuesday, so not this weekend, but coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, fresh, yeah. So we're getting into March, correct? So on March 3rd is DOA. A DOA show here in Portland. So you can check them out at doaprowrestling.com. And then March the 16th, Hard Luck back down at Pal Pro Wrestling in Eugene, Oregon. So if you're in the Salem, Eugene area, come on down to Pal. If you're in the Portland area and Salem area, come on up to Portland. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. That's my normal circuit. You know, like I said, not that I'm such a great value that I can pick and choose my spots, but I really, you know, at this stage of the game, I'm blessed to be wrestling on any show. I'm not actively out there chasing down opportunities because, again, keeping it 100, I find it like unnecessary for me, right? Like, who needs a damn near 50-year-old cat out there, you know, rising up everybody's girlfriends and making dudes mad and getting kids cursing at me and stuff and, you know, scaring people with actual snakes. You know, let some of the cats who are actually selling tickets and moving units, let them get those opportunities, right? Let the Amiras of the world and the Jadens, and of course, you know, the Aces and the Hammer Brothers, let them travel all over and get all this shine so that when I do punch them in the mouth, I could say, yeah, you've been all over, but I just knocked you out. I'm a simple guy. I don't ask for much. So
yeah, I mean, they're going to find out or fuck around and find out, essentially.
And you know better than anybody, we've been fucking around and finding out since 2001.
That is very true. That is very true.
Yeah, doaprowrestling.com and palprowrestling.com for all the events and tickets and all that fun stuff. Or you could hit me up directly and I could let you know about it.
Sarah, where can they find you?
Of course, you know our TikTok, Bucklebomb Entertainment, on our Twitter at BucklebombENT, same for Instagram as well.
And as always, you can join us on Facebook where we do our live shows and all of our content will be there. King Naja, thank you so much for joining us on this episode.
No, thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, we hope to have you back soon.
Hey, call anytime. I'm happy to talk about or bury anybody.
Definitely.
Good night, everyone.